Hey there, this is Andrew bringing you another Keyforge deck reveal and review. This is going to be a nice, fresh Mass Mutations deck. Mass Mutation. Don't want to do a false plural there. And let's see what we got name-wise here. Portly Champagne Shen. Oops, it's not in there. Portly Champagne Shen. I'm thinking Untamed. Maybe Dees. Star Alliance. Untamed. Shadow Scion. Okay. Not very accurate. Gotta keep my reputation up of being terrible at that. I once had a knife in here, but I put it somewhere else, and now I'm paying the price. Sorry. Cellophane game is hard. Alright. There we go. We got, Untamed, Shadows, Scion. We should be starting with the Scion. Cool. Yeah, seems fun. It's coming. So, boom. This tells us we're going to get a Ducilius. So, Ducilius is the gigantic creature in Saurian. There are 3 gigantic creatures in the game right now. One in Saurian, one in Untamed, one in Sanctum. And when you get one of them, you will get its coming in that house. So it can show up in all 3 houses if you get the gigantic creature. So we'll cover the gigantic creature when it comes out, but for now, let's talk about its coming. Oh, well, okay. So gigantic creatures come in 2 cards, and you need to play the cards together to have them hit the board. Of course, that's trouble. What if they're on different sides of the deck? Well, its coming helps. So when you play its coming, you gain an amber, you search your deck and discard pile for either half of a gigantic creature, you reveal that half, that card, and you put it into your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. So if you have this and 1 piece, then boom, you can fire off the whole thing. So there we go, it's coming. Chant of Hubris. An action with a bonus amber. When we play it, move an amber from a creature to another creature. Faust the Great. Your opponent's keys cost +1 for each friendly creature with amber on it. I really like this, and if you can protect it, it's a really nice key bumper. Especially, well, I've had it in a deck with Sanctum. When you have Sanctum and Saurian both doing capture, this ends up being pretty amazing. So it makes your opponent's keys cost +1 for each friendly creature with amber on it, and when you play it, you may exalt a friendly creature. And I'll just say, one thing I realized earlier today, really, during play, is that it's always worth it to bump it by 1 if your opponent's about to forge and they have 7, because if they forge for 7, then that 1 they get off of this later is, one that just makes up for them having to pay 1. So in that condition, it's worth doing it. And, maybe you get the Chant of Hubris later and turn it into your amber. Galeatops is a 12-power beast that only deals 4 damage when fighting. But that's enough to do a lot of work. So I've enjoyed having this card so far. Prefectus Ludo. Nice with the Faust. It's a 5-power dinosaur politician. Each other friendly creature gains destroyed, move each amber from this creature to the common supply. So this keeps us from giving the amber back to the opponent. That's great. Theros Centurion, really nice in here. It's a 6-power dinosaur soldier with 1 armor. When it's played or when it fights, it captures an amber. Got 2 of those. Nice. A Dreadbone Decimus. Now, one thing I'm noticing so far, I'll just point out, no enhanced pips. So that's kind of interesting. No enhanced icons of any kind so far. Doesn't mean we won't get any, but it is interesting. Alright, so Dreadbone Decimus, I've gotten to play a little bit, and I really like him. It's a 5-power dinosaur assassin, and it has a play fight effect that says you may exalt Dreadbone Decimus. If you do, destroy a creature with lower power than Dreadbone Decimus. And yeah, in the right condition, this is really nice. It's a nice way to just outright destroy something that would have been hard to deal with otherwise. And oftentimes that exalt is not, going to be the end of the world. It's often worth it. You can do that a second time after you fight. You do it once when you play, once when it fights. It's really nice. Oh, Library of Peliosaurus is a location. It has the action, move 1 amber from a friendly creature to your pool. That's a nice way to mitigate some of the capture and exalt that we might be doing in here. This is my first time seeing this card. Senator Quintina is a 5-power dinosaur politician that says after a creature reaps, exalt it. That is bonkers. Oh my goodness. After a creature reaps, exalt it. Wow. Obviously that applies to your opponent's creatures as well as your own. And this is interesting. This is very similar to Amberspine Mongrel out of Untamed, except it's more delayed, right? Well, and it applies to your own too, but I think the thought is you probably have ways to mitigate the capture on your creature, the exalt on your creature. Your opponent might not, and so they're effectively giving you amber when they reap. Really interesting. All right, and here is the bottom half of Ducilius, so let's pull the top half. So together, these make a gigantic creature. And this is the highest power, the highest printed power on a creature in the game so far. Very cool. So Ducilius is a 20 power mutant. It's interesting to me that it's not a dinosaur or anything like that. It's just a mutant. Niflkong is at least a Niffle. It's a mutant, a Niffle. So you can only play it, with both halves. Its play effect is capture all of your opponent's amber. Deal 5 damage to an enemy creature. That's a strong play effect. That's that's worth the work to get it out. And its fight reap ability is move an amber from it to the common supply and deal 2 damage to each enemy creature. That's crazy. That's really good board control. So that's pretty fun. Very exciting. Yeah, I can't wait to get that on the board. That looks really fun. Awesome. All right. It'd be fun to get that with Niflkong. That's a little too much to ask for, but it would be super cool. Okay, let's look at Shadows now. Ooh, Bo Nithing is great. It's a 2-power elf thief with play, steal 1 amber for each forged key your opponent has. So early on, this doesn't do anything. It doesn't steal anything, but once they've forged a single key, it's play steal 1, which is fine. And at the end game, it's play steal 2. So especially if you get to cycle your deck, this gets to be extra good. Francis the Economist is a 3-power elf thief with skirmish and fight. Each player gains 1. That's it. That's very interesting. If your opponent doesn't have anything to steal, this is a great way to get it. And of course, giving them 1 and you 1 is okay, especially if you're playing a little bit more of an amber control game where you're going to get more benefit out of that. We have 2 of those. Nice. Wow, 3 Francis the Economist. Is this going to be a Dave Cordero deck? Am I going to get 5 of these? Nope, that's it. Gamgee, okay, nice. So Gamgee is a 2-power elf thief with elusive, and after it reaps, if your opponent has more amber than you, steal 1. And in AOA and Worlds Collide, I didn't feel like I ever got great value out of this card. I'll be interested to see if that gets better this set. I was going to say maybe Francis will help, but Francis gives you each 1, so it really doesn't. If you weren't behind before, you won't be behind after that. Mud is an action with a bonus amber. When you play it, you move an amber from a creature to your pool and deal 2 damage to that creature. This is sometimes a good way to get amber off of Exalted or, creatures that have captured it. It's also nice for killing enemy creatures. Really nice to take care of Odoax. We got 2 of those, not bad. Again, no extra icons so far. That's really interesting to me. Opportunist is an upgrade with a bonus amber. When you play it, the creature you attach it to captures 1 from its opponent, but the creature also gains elusive. Nice. Rad Penny, awesome. Rad Penny is nothing but good. A 1-power mutant thief with play steal 1. and destroyed, shuffle red penny back into your deck. So the more you can destroy this and put it back into your deck, the better off you are, the more sealing you get to do. It's fantastic. Next up, we have Tempting Offer. This is an action with a bonus amber. This puts an enhance somewhere, so we're going to have a capture icon on some card. When you play it, you return an enemy creature to its owner's hand, and if you do, your opponent gains 1. That can be pretty good. It's pretty reasonable board clear. It's interesting because you compare it to Lights Out, and Lights Out puts 2 creatures back, and doesn't give your opponent anything for it. So, but I think what they try to do is balance these within the set. So it's just an interesting situation there, comparing it to Lights Out. One interesting thing to note, that if you do is kind of important. If you do this to one of your opponent's creatures that has, for example, a ward on it, then it's not actually going to get returned to their hand, and so the if you do says, oh no, you didn't, so they don't gain 1. So one thing to be aware of. Also, sometimes if you have a way to steal, which we only have 1 so far, 2 so far in this deck, 3, I lied, 3. We have 3 ways to steal. We only have 3 ways to steal that we've seen so far, but if you have a way to steal, sometimes giving your opponent 1 isn't bad, right? If they didn't have any, or if like the Gamgee wouldn't have fired but now it will, then this is a good deal for you. Okay. Venom is an upgrade with a bonus amber. It says after this creature is used, deal 2 damage to it. Nice way to put a timer on your opponent's creatures. Gambling Den. This is a fun one. Maybe not good, but definitely fun. It's an artifact with a bonus amber, and it says at the start of each player's turn, that player may choose a house. If they do, reveal the top card of their deck. If it is of the named house, they gain 2 amber, otherwise they lose 2. It's an interesting effect. It makes for fun games. I feel like the variance is too high and the risks are too great to probably use it competitively, but it has a place, and yeah, it's an interesting one. Alright, here we are off to Untamed. And I'll just say really quick, before we really launch into Untamed, we have 6, 7, 8 Amber Pips. That's a little low, but like in Worlds Collide that wouldn't be terrible, especially since we've only gone through 2 houses. The Ducilius has like a lot of interesting potential, and the Saurian in general could do some nice board control, and maybe generate some, with the Senator, so there's that. And there's some steel in the shadows, so I think there's some potential here. To me, it doesn't seem great so far, but there's definitely potential, and I'm interested to see what comes in the Untamed. Alright, so, Cephaloist, 4-power mutant, says while you have 4 or more amber, your amber can't be stolen. Really nice anti-steal tech in Untamed. By the way, this means we're not getting It's Coming, which means we're not getting Niflheim. That's totally fine, just calling that out. This won't be your double your double gigantic deck. Okay, Fandangle. Ooh, this could be really good. 3-power mutant witch says while you have 4 or more, your non-untamed creatures enter play ready. So that means your Gamgee, your Francis's, they come into play ready. Your Ducilius could come into play ready. The Theros Centurions, the Decimus, the Galeatops. These are all good things to have come into play ready. So that could be pretty nice. Now, we don't have great ways to protect it. I don't see anything with taunt to put it next to or anything like that. So it is going to be, if we're controlling the board, fine. But in general, this is a little probably dangerous, and not really hoping it stays out. Not hoping that hard that it stays out. Flumph is a 3-power beast and cat. It has skirmish and the fight ability, give a beast creature 2+1 power counters. What beasts have we seen so far? Flumph is obviously a beast, but what else? Yeah, those are all Elf Thief. That's just a mutant. Oh, interesting. The Galeatops is, but it's not going to do much good. But I think, making the Flumph figure is fine, and I think so far putting it on the Flumph itself is going to make the most sense. Got 2 of those. That's cool. And these are nice creatures. I like these as creatures. It's solid board control, no complaints. Rapid Evolution. That could be good for helping the Fandangle stay on the board. I like that. So this is an action with a bonus amber. When you play it, you choose a creature, you give it a +1 power counter for each amber you have. So if you have, 3 and you play this, you're making it a 7-power Fandangle, which is great. So I think that I like that. I hope I get those together. Ooh, Reclaim by Nature is a fantastic card. Always going to be glad to have this. It's an action with a bonus amber. You purge an artifact and you resolve its bonus icons as if you had played it. And this isn't bad. Like if you have this in your hand and you take a Shadow's turn and you decide to play the Gambling Den, but then next turn you Reclaim by Nature, that's totally fine. That's the only artifact I've seen so far. So, so other than that, like we're not really going to hurt ourselves. And sometimes there will be opponents' artifacts that really are high value and worth, like really nice to get rid of. Resurgence, interesting. So this is an action. It's going to put a draw icon somewhere, but again, in Enhance, I haven't seen a capture icon and I haven't seen a draw icon. So that means those are still further down in this deck, both a capture and a draw. That's really interesting. And anyway, but the Resurgence is an action. When you play it, you return a creature from your discard pile to your hand. If that creature is a mutant, return another creature from your discard pile to your hand. This can recur the Ducilius, both halves of it. That's pretty cool to play on a future turn. I don't think we had any other mutants here in Saurian, and in Shadows I don't think we did either, except Radpenny. That wouldn't be bad if it ended up in your discard pile somehow. Maybe it got knocked out of your hand or something. Otherwise, maybe the Cephaloist or the Fandangle. Those are reasonable targets. Or you could really return any one creature, so or a mutant and another creature. So lots of possibilities here, but I really like this card. Okay, Savage Clash, and here we have that first Enhance icon. This is a capture icon, so when you play, you will immediately capture an amber onto one of your creatures. And then the play effect is destroy each creature except the most powerful enemy creature and the least powerful friendly creature. Very interesting. Not sure how it ends up working in this deck, but again, if your opponent is getting ahead on creatures, it can be very nice. If they're behind, you might just decide to discard it, and only having a capture icon. I say only, sometimes that'll win you the game, but probably you're doing most of your capturing in Saurian. So I think in a clutch, this is a very good card to have because it's really the only board wipe we have, short of getting the Ducilius on the board. But if we don't need it, it's a fine discard. Song of the Wild, interesting if we can keep our creatures on the board. It's an action that says play for the remainder of the turn. Each friendly creature gains Reap, gain 1. So it turns your Reaps into double Reaps, which is nice. But that means that depends on you having these creatures on the board, the 4 that we've seen. It does have the draw icon on it, so when you play this, you will immediately draw a card and then apply that effect. Got 3 more cards coming here. We got a Bumblebird. That's an interesting one. Usually not very high impact. I don't love it. I'm not thrilled, but it is a creature. It's a 1-power beast and insect, and it has alpha, which means it has to be the first thing you play, or you have to do it before you play or use anything. And when you play it, you put 2 +1 power counters on each other friendly untamed creature. And I think if this said each other friendly creature, or even if it said each, 1 +1 on each other friendly creature, I think it would be fine. The fact that this is limited to our untamed creatures is a little iffy. Although, again, getting big flumps is not going to make me sad, exactly. Pose Pixies. That's going to be a good one. Pose Pixies is a 1-power fairy with elusive, and it says the amber that would be stolen or captured from your pool is taken from the common supply instead. And this is really nice anti-steal, anti-capture tech. It means that they still get the amber in the case of stealing, but their captures actually are really bad for them because it's actually generating more amber for you. You keep your amber, but they generate more, and that's fantastic. So I love Post Pixies. It can really change the game, and I think people often struggle to understand how to respond to it. Of course, it is small, so it's likely that it dies, and we don't here have any way to boost it. So that's going to be rough. Now, you could get it back with Resurgence along with something else, of course, but it is going to be a little tough to keep it on the board. But worth it if you can. We got one more card left here. Let's see what it is. Ooh, that's a fun one. Punctuated Equilibrium. This is an action, and when you play it, each player discards their hand, then refills their hand as if it were their draw a card step. And this can be really powerful. So when you think about it as an offensive tool, something that advances your game state, one of the things to realize is that this is a turn where you're getting to play. Maybe you play 3 other Untamed cards, and then you play this. You discard 2 and then draw 6, which ends up being a pretty good deal for you. There's a good chance on average you're going to draw a couple more Untamed cards and get to play them. But as a defensive tool, this can also be really disruptive to your opponent. Discarding their entire hand means that if they had a game plan that involved holding anything back, like a key card that's gonna, like a doorstep to heaven or something like that, this is going to interrupt that. They're not going to be able to do it, and that card's going to be gone from them. So it interrupts some of those combos where people might hold a card back until the right moment. They just don't get to do it. So of course they do get cards back, so it doesn't completely ruin them or set them back too far. It's not unfair, I don't think, but it does do a reset, and it can really interrupt those combo decks. Okay, well that's interesting. I am really interested to actually try this out and see how it works. I think the Fandango with the Ducilius is very very interesting. A lot of potential there. And honestly, the potential to generate Amber in this deck is pretty good. Not off the charts, but pretty good. And then I'm really interested to see too if all these, some big creatures, a lot of creatures with fight skirmish, creatures that can grow bigger. I'm really interested to see if those translate into really strong board control. There's only one way to really find out, and that's to get out and give it a whirl, which I plan to do sometime soon. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it, and that you will hop online and forge some keys. Thanks.